Imola. The race was canceled last week, so there was a preview show of me speaking for about 45 minutes. That means absolutely nothing since the race got canceled, but I did it anyways. And that's going to ruin some of our prediction picks that are picks that we like to go over and some of that fun. But what we're going to do today is go over Monaco. We're going to make our picks. Fun game that we play here on this show. We'll go over that later. And there's a lot to discuss about. Alex, what's going on, buddy? How we doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Exciting for race weekend we just watched.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the best thing I saw on the internet was like a meme of like what their boats would be look like if they were driving. And it was like it basically was like Red Bulls was something funny, I think, with Danny Rick in it. Mercedes was like a fast boat, and then Ferrari was like I forget what it was, but it was something. The whole meme was basically bashing Ferrari, and what
It
their
was
boat
it
would
was a
be like.
Titanic.
Oh, ooh, it could have been. It was something like that though, along those lines. We missed you a lot last week though, and we are very glad to have you back. So let's just go over Monaco real quick. A couple fast facts. Most wins at this track is Senna. With 6 wins. That's a good amount of wins here. It started in 1929. It's been on and off some years. COVID ruined that race. There was like some wars going on that ruined the race. But 1929 is a long time. We're almost approaching 100 years on that race in a few years. What's that? 6 years. So um, it's a big race. And then I actually have a little fun fact here. Who lives in Monaco? Because the list is long. Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Alex Albon, Nico Hulkenberg, Danny Rick. Former drivers: Jensen Button, Mika Häkkinen, Nico Rosberg, David Coulthard, Mark Webber, and Daniel Kvyat. If you ask why, they don't just live there because there's a race there. There's no income tax
Taxes.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're making
I knew
they're
about
making
all- I knew about all those, but Bottas. I thought Bottas lived in is it Finland?
Yeah, you know what? This is something I grabbed off the internet. So, I don't have these guys' numbers personal in their address to know what's what. So I just got that off the internet. But like I know Lewis and Max and Charles and Alex. I know
Yeah,
that
I know
they
for a fact
all,
they live there. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And so like you said, they get no income tax. Apparently, there's no inheritance tax. So you can, I think, pass some money around. And apparently, there's good security there too. So I think it's a tight, small island. I think you gotta have a lot of money to be there. So that's where a lot of those guys are. I think if you guys know, we're a newer show. Speaking about Formula One, we call ourselves Drive to Survive fans. Even though, in my opinion, we love the sport more than just the show, and we really get into it. But I think the biggest topic to discuss, Alex, is should we still have a Monaco Grand Prix?
Um, I I think we should. I think the only way it's going to be exciting though is if they kind of turn it into more of a qualifying race than they do an actual race, because that's pretty much what Monaco's turned into is just qualifying, and then it goes into you can't pass. You can't pass at all. You're basically hoping for somebody to wreck, and that's about it. But
So give your
boring
what
race.
would a Alex Perez Monaco Grand Prix weekend look like?
I don't know. I really don't. I couldn't tell you because I know qualifying sounds boring. But like that's the only exciting part of the entire weekend. But
We
for
just doing
Monaco,
one.
anyways.
We doing like one qualifying. We doing two qualifyings. What are we doing?
I
We
just
we we qualifying on Saturday and then going home and partying. What's up?
I really don't know. I really don't know. I think they have to figure something out in the sense of like to find to make the race exciting again. Because like some days just a snooze fest. I throw it on in the morning and I'm usually like making breakfast and I kind of have it in the background, and it's just not fun to watch. It's boring. Like everyone, and then you have everyone complaining about traffic and it's super tight. The cars are wider than ever. And unless they start implementing like car size or something, or finding a way to like get a place to overtake or remapping Monaco entirely, it's just a boring race. I understand the history behind it. It's exciting to watch. I always look forward to it in the calendar year, but I do know I'm going to be disappointed every single year.
Yeah. Well, your opinion there is not alone. I did a little bit of research about it and kind of what some people were saying, and Christian Horner actually had some good perspective on this. That so so it's unique in a lot of ways that it became the crown jewel, so it kind of like just had this heritage, and that's why we go there, right? There's some
Mhm.
little things there that they pay a very small fee to F1 to be there, compares to like what some of these countries, um, like Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi are actually paying. So F1 is not getting that much money from this race. They're allowed to do their own sponsors. So I think Rolex is the primary sponsor of Formula One when it comes to the watch game. But you might see like Tag Heuer signs all around this track because they're able to go get their own sponsorship. Um,
Okay.
and then something that they were saying was that it's starting to get too small, I guess, for like teams to host their sponsors and like their famous people. So uh, there's besides the race itself being boring, I think there's a lot of like off the track stuff that's starting to kind of accumulate. And I think when you're seeing the Miami Grand Prix, which it's not anywhere near the same history that Monaco has, but like, how many famous people were there last weekend?
Oh, there were plenty. I mean, to be fair though, Monaco in itself has a crap ton of rich people and famous people who live there. So like, I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. But
Yeah,
yeah, Miami is just different
yeah,
in that
I
sense.
agree. We had a friend go to Monaco last year to watch the race. They had an absolute blast. They said party vibes were good. Um, they said that watching the
What
race
kind
was
of
good.
what kind of tax bracket is this friend in?
Not a crazy one, just one to hustle. So
Respect,
I respect.
respect.
Yeah, I respect it. Not crazy, but it was. He said it was a good race, and he had a great time. So I think there a lot of people are gonna hang their hat on that. Is your camera frozen over there?
Is it? I don't think. Am I moving?
No, but I hear
I'm
you.
not. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Do you want to disconnect? Try
Just
reconnecting real quick.
yeah, hold on. Any better?
Welcome back to the show. It's
Is it
good to have
moving?
you back. Yeah, you're good. You're there.
All right, sweet, sweet, sweet.
Yeah. All
Um,
right. So Alex, I took some notes on some years past here. So please just feel free to hop in wherever as I'm going over kind of some key highlights. So let's start with last year. Ferrari starts 1-2. I think a lot of people forget that because of the finish. Ferrari actually starts one
I
two.
did forget that. I thought
Yep.
Chekhov started one, but yeah, I forgot
No,
that too.
no. So this Ferrari starts 1-2. What really kind of screwed the race up was there was that awful double stack pit stop where
Yep,
they
I
tell
remember
Charles
now.
to box, they tell him to not
Hmm.
box. Carlo makes his own decisions to skip. A lot of drivers went from wets to inters to then their slick tires. Carlos skipped the inter phase and went to straight to slicks. So that was kind of the big key in the race. Carlos gets held up by a lap car, so he actually pits first onto the slicks, and then Sergio Perez pits, but he gets held up by a lap car. So coming out of the pits, Sergio Perez has that kind of sketchy exit where like their rule was like I forget if you can't touch the line, or now they say you
Oh,
can't
I
go
remember.
over it.
Yep.
A little bit of sketchy exit, and as we know, Checo gets ahead of Carlos, and the finish of the race as ended up being Checo first, Carlos second, Max in third, with Leclerc, who qualified first and was leading the race, finishing fourth. Which I kind of forgot. I knew that he got screwed, but I forget that he went from first to all the way off the podium.
Yeah.
So that's 22. 21, Charles doesn't start the race. He's supposed to be starting pole. I believe he put in his pole lap and then he wrecked on like the last lap again, hindering other
Hmm.
people's qualifying session. Maybe bringing up this debate for us again later because I love to debate this. But so he doesn't start the race. He was supposed to start pole. The other interesting thing in the race, Bottas, I believe, was running like second or third. Can't get his wheel nut off. So
Oh,
they
that's
had to
right. They made a joke of the longest pit stop of all time. It took like
yeah, it was it kind of got sealed on
21
there.
hours. It's something ridiculous.
Yep. So the finish of that race is Max, Carlos, and Lando. It's good to go back and see that McLaren up there in third place. Then this is when kind of Monaco kind of turns into Monaco. In 2019, Lewis runs mediums for 67 laps to hold off Max Verstappen. They pitted around the same time. They put Lewis on mediums for 67 laps. Max was on a hard tire. Max was essentially pushing him around the track. It was absolutely insane. Lewis is kind of freaking out on the radio that he won't be able to hold him off, that his tires won't last. But he holds him off. And it was kind of, there if you weren't in, it was a big thing. I was like, no matter how much faster the car is behind, you can't pass. Lewis still had to do a good job keeping it in all the right spots. Max, valiant effort. But Lewis held him off. And because Max gets a 5-second time penalty in that race, Lewis, Sebastian Vettel, and then Valtteri Bottas is your top three in that race in 2019. 2018, again, Ricciardo's running in first and complains that he's losing power and still wins the race.
Yeah, that was a wild one. I remember that.
It was his redemption year, so it was good to see him win, but it was kind of just builds that case of there's no passing. We got dudes winning on 67 laps medium against better tires, which shouldn't happen. We got dudes winning against lack of power. So in 18, Danny Rick wins, Vettel second, Hamilton third. 2017, I got no notes. It was just a pretty straightforward Sebastian Vettel first, Kimi second, Danny Rick third. And then
Ferrari won too.
Yeah, Ferrari won too. Yep. And then in 2016 is Danny Rick's worst nightmare. Red Bull calls him into pit from the lead. He should be out in plenty of time. They don't have the tires ready. It was completely Red Bull's fault, not on Danny Rick's fault. They called him in. It kind of gave Hamilton the win, and it's Lewis 1, Danny Rick 2, and then Sergio Perez 3. So I don't get your opinion here in a second. I go through all that. And there's those 1 or 2 sentence taglines that I just took, but then the rest of the race is boring. Like that might sound interesting to some people, but Ricciardo getting screwed on whatever lap he got screwed, that was essentially the end of the race. He came out faster than Hamilton, but couldn't pass him. Max running behind Lewis, that might seem exciting, but that Max pressing Lewis got boring after 10, 15 laps. So. I don't know what you think after hearing all that recap, but
same thing you do. There's no passing. It's a boring race, but I do remember Gasly making some moves. I can't remember what year it was. You have some exciting moments here and there, but it's never like the front runners. It's like you'll get some mid-tier cars who might overtake just because they got nothing to lose. But
yeah,
that's about it.
I forget one of these years. I think Verstappen starts dead last, and he might finish in 10th in the points. But that Red Bull, he was just driving past people in the back of the field. So, like you said, if you get equal-ish cars up front, equal-ish. They don't even need to be equal. The race is pretty much what it is. And you're the whole race is either, if it's a dry race, it revolves around the one pit stop usually, because Monaco doesn't beat up tires, so all they really need is a one stop. Mm-hmm. So you just, once that pit stop cycle through, that's pretty much it. And then if it's a wet race, it's exciting for a little bit. Like last year, it was exciting as they were going from inters to wets. But then once everyone put on the slicks,
it's over.
The race is done. So you have to be a big fan. You're either straight in Monaco for the party, Tom Brady throwing balls to Danny Rick or whatever it was. Danny Rick dive bombing into the pool, one of the best photos of all time.
That's gotta be a top 3. That's gotta be a top 3 F1 moment of all time.
It's such a good photo. But you're kind of there for that 1-2 moments.
It's like the Monaco thing, yeah.
Yeah, you're there.
If I could afford to go to, sorry, I know I keep cutting you off.
No, you're good.
If I could afford to go to any Grand Prix, I would love to go to Monaco. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
That's just a story behind it, but it's also, I know it's gonna be a boring race.
Alex, I think if we combined our money, I don't even think we could dock a canoe there. You know what I mean? Let alone if we could afford a yacht, that'd be a hell of a good time.
SEAL Team 6, we're going in, bro.
Oh boy, here we go. Don't shut us down, but we're going in. All right. It's one of those. I would go to any Formula One race, and I would, I'd put Monaco up there. But I'm with you. I think we're gonna see some stuff in the next few years. I know Lewis says he likes the race. Max says he likes the race. They say it's the crown jewel, the history. You can't lose it. But I think that as some of these, United States, I think is ruining everything. So I think as these Miami Vegas race comes around and they get a lot of famous people and draw a lot of attention, you know, I don't think necessarily like a Tom Brady will ever go back to Monaco. He's already been once. I think he'll go to Miami. I think he'll go to Vegas. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm using him off the top of my head, but I think the stars are gone there.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I will say I think this year's a little bit different, but only because of what happened at Imola. That we have a little bit more excitement going into the race.
Yep.
With like we don't know what we're gonna get from Mercedes. Um, Ferrari, as bad as they've looked all season, they do look good in qualifying times for the most part. I'm sorry, the last few races, but I know they got the new floor and it was hard to put the car in the limit. But if Ferrari comes with a good enough package, they might be able to perform during qualifying and steal a race win here. Like I said, we don't know what's coming with Mercedes. There's a lot of car upgrades coming up into this, and because we didn't have Imola, this is where it's all being said and done, and that's going to create a little bit of excitement for the race.
Yeah. How big of a deal, Absolutely. I don't know if you've seen some of the photos from Imola, but absolutely the right move to cancel it. Like it was bad.
100%.
Yeah, the cameras from Alpine's hotel are absolutely like it is flooded. Some of the pictures from the track flooded. But I made a video saying it's a race down if someone wants to catch Red Bull, which I don't think that's gonna happen. But it's really about the upgrades. Like we were gonna see some upgrades, test some upgrades, and then you were gonna go to Monaco, and now it's like we're gonna go to the small, tight street circuit with no idea what these upgrades look like for these teams.
And it's going to make our pick'ems like it's going to be interesting because like I wouldn't be surprised to throw a Mercedes in a podium position here or a Ferrari in a podium position as well. Because like I said, like Ferrari looks good in one lap, so let's see what happens.
Do
As
you
long
have
as
your
they don't fuck up the strategy. As long as they don't fuck up the strategy.
Do you have your picks ready?
Not off the top of my head, but if you start going down a list, I'm down to
Oh,
spitball that real quick.
we'll get there. But your comments, I have my picks already, and I think
Really?
I think it's gonna be a fun one. But in hearing your comments,
You
no, I just
thinking you're gonna will Lewis to a podium?
no, I told you I'm doing the opposite now. I'm playing the game,
Yo,
and
you're
I'm
doing the
hoping
opposite. You're playing the
I
game.
I'd rather
Okay.
lose the game and see Lewis win than try to will him to
Okay.
a podium anymore. I know.
Okay. Okay.
I think the picks are gonna be fun. Um, so yeah, that's Monaco. We would love to be discussing Imola right now, but it got canceled, and that just is what it is. If you look at the F1 calendar, I know a few people have went over this. There's essentially no spot to put that race in anywhere. If you put that race in anywhere, you'll be either double heading or triple heading some weekend that they probably need
Hmm.
off. And this from Italy to Monaco is actually like one of their better
Logistics.
better logistics. Thank you. So the Imola is just scratched. I think we all need to get over that. Um,
Hmm.
it doesn't affect much. I saw something like gearbox and engine allocation and some money on some stuff. So it's kind of just a wash there. But
Uh,
if you expected that race to happen, I wouldn't.
don't quote me on this, but isn't this like the biggest season yet? Like this is what 25 races or something like that? 26,
We were at 23, 23, and
23,
Imola canceled will put us down to 22. Yep.
22. That's
Yeah.
crazy if you think about it though. It's 52 weeks in a year. I mean, like you're getting that much like once race every Sunday or something. That's
Yeah,
half a year
and
F1.
yeah, and like I don't know the exact dates in my head, but we're in May. Vegas is in November, and I think like Abu Dhabi is after Vegas, so we're going
That's
into
gonna
like
be.
the second or third week in November. We can't. I don't
Is
think
it?
they
Is
go any
Vegas at
later.
night? Is Vegas at
Yes,
night?
yes.
It's gonna be cold there.
I don't know Vegas weather like that. Maybe not.
It's a desert.
I don't know the weather out there.
So I mean like I don't know like the weather out there either, but I do know like desert time it gets cold at night and it's almost like Thanksgiving time around then. I can't imagine it being. I mean compared to like other areas, it's gonna be cold.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a
with
fun race to watch now.
F1 2023 start times confirmed with Saturday night race for inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. Can you imagine? We see them in like parkas and like fur hoodies, like coming to the grid for their grid walk.
Lewis does it all the time, so we'll see that. I'm sure.
Did
Um,
you see? Do you see Lewis Hamilton reads mean tweets?
No, I did not. Dude, his
For
outfits are wild to me. Like every
so
now
is
and then, I'm like, I'm
they got
convinced that.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
were you going? I'm
Well, they
convinced
hit.
that high fashion is just a social experiment to see how much people are willing to spend on dumb things.
Listen, you know we love Lewis here, but neither me or Alex are rocking any of those outfits. We promise. There's just not our cup of tea, and I can't agree with more of what Alex said. It is an experiment. It's like it. I think Kanye's been doing it for a while. It's like let's put on whatever and see what people will rock with. But some of
Have
the
you
mean
seen
tweets
those
were
like?
about his clothes.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen like those boots that people are buying now? Those like red like cartoon boots.
Yeah,
You know
uh,
what I'm talking about, bro?
yeah.
People are spending a fortune on those things.
SGA was the first one to wear him. Shouts out OKC
Oh
Thunder.
yeah.
Um, so yes, those red boots. The list goes on. But he was reading some things about his outfit were kind of funny. And then I guess I don't know this to be. Do you know the movie Zoolander?
I know bits and pieces. I know I watched it when I was younger, but I know like quotes about it here, but that's about it.
Well, someone said he looks like he'd be a character from Zoolander, and he was like, "Bro,
Okay,
I
I
was."
could see that. I could
Yeah,
see that. He
he was
was
like,
in Zoolander.
yeah, he's like, "Bro, I was in
Oh,
Zoolander too. Of course, I look like a character." I was like, "Oh, that's a cold response back. That's absolute gold."
you gotta
Way to
love
clap
Lewis.
back. All right. Ooh. All right. Well, I think we're getting to what we got to do with Monaco here. I have our DraftKings odds for Monaco. Um,
All right, let's pull him up.
yeah. So let's go over it here. We have Max up top. Shocker, shocker. But he's in the plus money this weekend. Usually, oh no, oh no.
Plus.
So he's favored
Wow.
or he's favorited, but usually he's minus, on the odds, but he's plus 115. So I already texted one friend saying he should get after it, but Julian said that if he did bet on it, Max would lose, so he's not touching it. But I think Max at 115 isn't a
Is
bad
he
bet.
is he a
Uh,
Max fan?
no, no, he's a making money fan. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I think I got him conditioned to like Lewis. But yeah, I just told him, I
K
said,
Mag plus 60K. Ryan's
yeah.
not gonna like that one.
Well, Ryan's gonna make a lot of money when K Mag wins, and we all look like idiots. So you have Max one plus 115, Sergio plus 285. So Red Bull's 1-2. I always find this interesting. Leclerc plus 330, Fernando plus 650. So you got two teammates by themselves. Lewis then slides in at plus 2,800. Carlos with plus 3,000. So that's a pretty big gap from plus 330 to plus 3,000 on Carlos. And then George plus 3,500. Not too big of a gap to Lewis there. And then
Lance, oh my God.
As they've been doing Lance dirty,
They did him crazy, Jesus.
plus 650 from Fernando to
That's
plus 10,000.
that's ridiculous. A top two car and they give him plus 10,000.
Yeah, they have these odd makers. They
Yeah,
know
I
so
mean,
they have no
yeah, they
faith in
know
him.
who he is, bro.
I
I mean, I
find
would
this.
put him there. I'd put him there too, but
Oh
damn.
yeah, I think it's kind of interesting here. You got Pierre at plus 30,000, Lando at plus 30,000, and Esteban at plus 30,000. I just find it
Ah, that's
interesting.
good.
They seem to have a lot of faith in Lando. That the McLaren has shown no speed. The Alpines have been faster every week. So to throw Lando in the same odds as Pierre and Esteban, that's a lot of faith.
He's been out. I won't say he's out driving the car. When had they looked good? They got 2 points finishes this year, right? Or
I have standings next to me. I mean, they've scored 14 points, so I'm going to assume that, yes, that's definitely.
McLaren or Lando?
I can figure this out. Lando has 10 points, and then Piastri must have four
Okay,
points.
he has
So,
four. Okay.
yep. So,
Yeah, I think I would put him right outside the Alpine. I'd probably put him at four plus 40.
yeah, that's what I mean. So if you look at the rest of this, Yuki, Valtteri, Oscar, Nick, Nico, Logan, Kevin, Jogan, you, and Alexander, they're all at plus 60,000. So you go from plus 30,000 to plus 60,000. Why not, if you have a little bit more respect from Lando, throw him at like plus 40, plus 50? To throw him at plus 30 with those
Yeah, put him.
Alpines.
Yeah. I mean, I know he likes the track, but yeah, that's a stretch there. Especially like those Alpines, they don't look too bad this year. Pierre's been doing
Nope.
pretty good. Esteban and him are going at it, but like it seems like Pierre's winning right now. I'd put him at plus 40, yeah. But I don't know. Vegas knows best.
Yeah, what do we know? But if you're watching and you like to bet, I mean, you could throw a few dollars on some of those front runners all in the plus, and I don't think it's too bad. You might make some money this weekend, like I did, betting on Brooks to win the golf tournament this weekend. Shouts out Brooks Koepka, helping your boy out. All right, so let's
I gotta
get
start
down.
becoming a degenerate.
Who?
Me, I
You?
gotta start becoming degenerate. Yeah, I gotta
Oh,
start gambling more.
no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I
We
know.
don't we don't encourage gambling on this show, but we have some fun doing it. Okay. We are going to go into our prediction pick time. We are going
We're
to
going
let
qualifying or is this race right off the rip?
uh I'm let's just go race because I at least for me personally, my order is like that's how they qualify. So
Okay. All right, you go
so
first. I don't know
oh
who
no
went
no,
first
I
last
just set
time,
it up so
but
you have to go first.
I have to go first. All right, I'm
Yep.
gonna go. I'll go Max. That's
Okay,
safe.
he's taking the safe bet. And
I gotta catch up. Gotta catch up.
it's good to know that our number ones will not be the same
I feel like you're
because
going Checo here.
you
Or
think I'm going
Charles. You're Checo or
yeah
Charles here? Are you
buddy,
going Charles?
yes sir. So let's look back at the history. He puts it on
Oh,
pole
I know. Well,
twice.
yeah, he's good at this race. He's great at qualifying at this race. It's just holding it together.
You know what, but like don't you feel like he's due one here at some point? Like
It's Ferrari. They've been due one for like the last decade.
no, I mean they're not going to win a championship. They sold their
No,
soul
I
for
know.
that. But I think Charles Leclerc, if he can put it on pole, they have to get this. They have to get the strategy right one of these times. There's no
That's the
passing
only
here,
reason I won't
so
put him there. That's the only reason I won't put him there is strictly because of that. Because like Ferrari can't get it right. They just can't. They have to fuck up somewhere. We're gonna get a DNF from Charles. I'm calling it this week. No, I'm not.
oh my
I
gosh.
actually have him. I have him. I have him in my top. I have him finishing the podium. So
Okay, I thought you were gonna call. I thought you were really gonna call DNF there. I was
no,
excited. I
but
said, oh
it's
Al.
Ferrari, man. This is Ferrari. They just love to fuck up. They live for it.
Ah,
They love to
no,
piss
not
off their fans. They
no,
love to
not this.
make beautiful cars. They love to make beautiful cars and piss off their fans. What they're good for.
No, if my buddy Mac is watching, Ferrari fan, nope, we're winning it this year. I give him to it. I give him it. All right, what's your number two then, baby?
I'm gonna go Checo. I'm going
Okay,
straight up Red Bull 1-2. Checo's a good. Checo's a track. What are we calling him? A street king,
Street King,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So like, I gotta stay faithful for him. And he had an impressive race last year. And I know he put it in the wall in qualifying to put Max out, but you gotta
Yeah,
play safe.
well,
I gotta trust Checo. I trust
I,
Checo here.
I definitely don't think that he will be doing that again, putting in the wall. I think that trick only works once.
Yeah, Max will
Uh,
do it this year.
oh my gosh, Alex, I like it with the conspiracy, thinking that Max will do a little payback, put it in the wall. All right, I
We're really
like
gonna
it.
say Max isn't petty.
No, he's definitely petty. I'm going Max too. That's my two. Nothing exciting.
Okay.
You got to put the
All right. So
fastest car. It's two. So
yeah, I told you who my three is already. So I'll go Charles three. Stick with
okay,
that. Got him on the podium.
okay. So we have some drivers up in the top five kind of here together. So that's not it's not bad.
You know what? I'll
Um,
stick with it. I'll stick with it. No, I'll stick with it. I'm going Charles three.
all right, you're sticking with it. My third overall pick today is gonna be the Red Bull. So I felt like I
Okay.
got spicy with one, and then I got real predictable with two, three. So I'm going Sergio three. It is now on you to pick your fourth place.
I'm gonna go Fernando four, just because I want to put a Mercedes there, but I just don't know what we're gonna get out of them. And I don't trust that their car design is gonna work.
Yeah, wouldn't our picks, like you said, be completely different if we would have saw? Well, we don't know that they would have been different, but there's a good chance they would have been different if
Yeah, if
we
we
would have
saw
saw.
Imola, yeah,
Yep. And
but
because of that, I have to roll with you. Not the same pick, but I'm not going to put a Mercedes there. I'm going to go with Carlos in fourth. So I think we're going to have heavy, heavy Red Bull.
you really like that
For
Ferrari. You like that Ferrari
Ferrari.
this week, huh?
Yeah,
You're
they're not.
really
They're,
trusting the Ferrari boys.
listen. A blind squirrel finds a nut. This could be their week. Okay.
I
So
like
what do you
it. I
got in
like it.
fifth?
I'm gonna go George. I'm gonna go George.
Wow, the disrespect to Lewis, unreal. If you ever
Lewis
watch,
historic.
if Lewis
Lewis,
ever
if
watches this
Lewis ever
show,
watches this,
I don't be upset at Alex, okay?
I apologize. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but thank you for watching.
Oh my gosh, it's one thing
No, but
to
but like
not
if
put a
you,
Mercedes in the top five, but to put George over Lewis.
the only
Mm-mm-mm.
reason I say that is because historically, like like the last 2 years, Lewis has been what 2020. He was stuck in P8 the entire race, or P7. He couldn't
Yeah,
get past George, and then
yeah, that
last year I think he was stuck in P8 the entire race. It's just like it's nothing against Lewis. I think he's great at street racing in general. It's just it depends if this car comes comfortable with the upgrades to him. I think I'm more than happy to throw Lewis on a podium there. I just don't know what this car is going to give him, and I gotta go with Mr. Consistency George here. He looked good last year here, so
yeah. In sense, so he wins that race in 2019, and that's kind of the Nicky Lauda race. Um, I believe Nicky had just
mm-hmm.
passed away like a week or two before, so
Yep,
it's kind of when some things are just meant to be. I felt like that's kind
yeah,
of what that was. But you're right. In 21, one of the years he gets stuck behind Gasly. They screw up the pit. He gets stuck behind Gasly. I think that's 21. And then last year, I think he gets into it trying to pass Esteban, and then maybe he gets past Esteban, and then he's just stuck behind Fernando the whole entire race. The track has not been good to him. So I get what you're saying with George, and George has kind of been on it. But I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to put our boy Fernando in fifth for myself. So, your top five, you're looking at Max, Checo, Charles, Fernando, and George. I'm looking at Charles, Max, Sergio, Carlos, and Fernando. Again, I'd love to see Lewis put it on pole and win this race. I'd love to be wrong, but I'm going. Listen, it's Ferrari's weekend. I'm telling you right now, Alex. I can feel it,
I really hope we're both wrong about this Mercedes upgrade package because
and it's so
if
fast.
like yeah, I don't think anyone's touching Red Bull, but I'd love to see someone competing with them, and I think Mercedes is the only team that can really compete with them because as much as Aston Martin has drastically improved, they drastically improved because they're copying Red Bull, and until they start coming up with an idea of their own that works, I'm not going to put Aston Martin above them. I think Mercedes is the only team that can really compete with Red Bull or touch them this year if they wanted to. But
I
if it
agree.
goes in the drastic wrong direction, then next year we're just gonna have to be patient and hope they figure it all out. But who
Yeah,
knows?
I mean, listen, teams can't be on top forever. They just can't. You know.
No, that's how for sorry, that's how Formula One is though. You get like
Yeah.
4 year dynasties, 5 year dynasties, and then you just drop for a little bit.
Red Bull had their run, and then they kind of fell off. Not they were like second, third constructor, and now they're back on top.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari was good. Don't forget, Ferrari had that real bad season like 2 years ago with Charles and Sebastian. They were running like bad for Ferrari standards, and now not that they're as fast as Red Bull, but they have a better car, and Mercedes was dominating most of that time, and now this might be the time where they sit in second and third in constructors. We don't know. It's I think it's if you look back, like Williams at one point was really fast. Like I don't know if you know some of these old William races. I know
Yeah,
you go back and
The
watch.
'80s,
Yeah,
they
well,
were like was it
even
'80s? Yeah,
even
'80s. They were really good.
go back to 2015, 2016 with Valtteri in the car. They were running good, and then they have this. I think they finished second or third in the constructors, in the 2010s, but they take this drastic step down to go back to the grid, all the way down the grid. McLaren used to be the fastest team for a while. They had good cars, way back in the day. Senna, good cars when Lewis was running, and then when Fernando and Ben Button was running from, they dropped way down. So I think it's about if you're not on first in the constructors, staying close to keep you in it.
Yeah. I think there's a team that doesn't get enough flack is everyone talks about like Ferrari this, Ferrari that. Like Ferrari obviously is like the poster boy child for F1, but like McLaren, I think McLaren's a winningest team, or second. At this Ferrari, it might be Ferrari and then McLaren. I don't
Yeah,
know,
I
but
I think
regardless,
it's I think
historically,
it's Ferrari with 242 wins, McLaren with 183 wins.
okay, Mercedes got to be three because of Lewis. Well,
Yeah.
anyways, McLaren, I don't feel like
he might be back in. I have to throw him up on the stream when he gets back. Ooh, he's not back in. We'll give him a second. Yeah, our picks are in. I have actually. I'll throw this up on the screen too. This was Miami Grand Prix results, just in case you're not familiar with our game here. We just did the picks as you saw, and then now we have our point system. If you guess the winner right, you get 5 points. If you guess the driver in the top 5 correct, you get 3 points. And if you put them in the top 5 but they're in the wrong order, you get 1 point. Last week, I took the lead. I had a big Miami Grand Prix. I got 10 points to Alex's 5, and it put me ahead 1 in the standings. So it was a good week for me on that point system. Get you back, brother. Here you are.
Sorry, my internet just likes to crap the bed every 5 minutes.
Oh well, listen, it happens. Going through some of our stuff here. I think we're in for a weekend. I don't want to say a good weekend yet because it's Monaco and we don't know. But as Alex said, his favorite part in a lot of the show will be on Saturday for qualifying. So if you get that chance on Saturday, you don't want to miss qualifying. Small track too, so usually it's someone's getting mad at someone for getting in someone's way, and trying to stack the queue is difficult, so it adds some excitement. So if you're around on Saturday, make sure you watch qualifying, and then big racing day on Sunday. To be honest, if you're really into racing, a Formula One in the morning brings you right into the Indy 500 in the afternoon, brings you right into NASCAR's longest race, Coca-Cola 600 at night. So, if you're like me, there will be a race car on my television all day. So that's just what we're doing here. So, what do you got? We got any good plans for Memorial Day weekend? What's up?
Fortunately not.
Just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling, just watching the race and hoping for the best.
You get that Monday off to relax a little bit. No work on Monday for you, right?
Yeah, I got Monday off.
Yeah, there you go.
I might pick it up if they allow me to get the extra money, but we'll see.
Make that OT money. But all right, well, hey, we should be back next Monday. I think as Alex just said, our schedules might be a little bit up in the air. So, but the game plan is to be back next Monday to talk about Formula One. We had a great time chatting with you. Like I said, I'm so pumped to have Alex back this week. I think it really showed how much we miss him after last week's episode of me just babbling on for a while.
Hey, so, I thought it looked good. It looked professional. You know what you're talking about. That's for sure. I'm just here for some wild takes every now and then.
Hey, thank you. First of all, you do have the hottest takes in the game.
I don't know. McComb might have taught me on that one.
Well, McComb doesn't even all right, you have the wildest takes for knowing what's going on. McComb's takes are only wild because he thinks that Jeff Gordon's going to come back and win like a Formula One race somehow or something. Like he does.
Yeah, George Russell was going to be arrested for participating in the purge.
Oh man, that video was great. I'm glad we got that on the internet. I hope some of you guys got to see that. And I guess before I talk about all things racing here, Alex, just to get into sports because we love it. What do we think? Celtics down 3-0, Lakers down 3-0. What do we think?
Listen, Adam Silver's preparing the greatest comeback script of all time right now, okay? They're about to both go to Game 7.
Okay,
I'm calling it now.
I did read that. It was like a meme of like Jokic being upset, and he's like, Jokic realizing that LeBron is just doing this for the documentary because he does have crews following him around. I think it's Butler's time, in my opinion, so I think it will be the Heat
for the
in the
finals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think anybody's beating. If I'm being realistic, I don't think anybody's beating Denver. I think Denver's too complete of a team. That team is way too deep, and Jokic he's just a perfect fit for that team. It really is. It's all put together. As long as they stay healthy.
I think it'll be Denver, Miami, and I think it'll be if Butler can have that dog
Denver
in him for the whole series.
I think Denver at 5.
But
I'm still taking Denver at 5.
I agree with you. As far as like a whole team goes, Denver is looking pretty unstoppable right now. All right, well that's go ahead.
Whoever comes out of the West is winning the entire thing. Pretty much is what I was saying.
Really, no faith in my dog Jimmy. Okay.
Dude, I love Jimmy Butler. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan, all right, but I'm not a big fan of Miami, but Jimmy Butler, bro, from the land of Timothy, I love Jimmy Butler.
Well, I mean, some things are easier when you're Michael Jordan's son, right? So.
Yeah, true. You got that dog in you.
Yeah, you definitely got that dog in you. All right, Alex, thank you so much, buddy. I will see you. I get to see Alex on Wednesday night, so I love
Yes,
that.
sir.
All right, I'll see you
Taking
then,
things
buddy.
up
Take care.
pieces.
All right. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We're wrapping up Formula One there. Like I said, we got a lot of racing on Sunday. F1 right into Indy, right into NASCAR. So that's exciting things. But let's go over some racing that happened this past weekend. I I envision this show. If you're listening one day, we do it live. I would really love to get people in here, especially when we get into this all things racing segment. I know it would be cool when we talk about Formula One. Sometimes when we get into all things racing, I I talk about racing that I don't know as much as I do about Formula One. So I'd love to have a chat to come in and help me. So that's the goal one day. I'll put my goals out here in the open. I'm not afraid to talk about them. So let's start with the Indy 500 that's this weekend. They kind of do a cool thing in the month of May. They already had the Indianapolis Grand Prix. I believe is what they call it, 2 weeks ago. So it's their road course through the center of the track and using some of the oval. They stay there. There was qualifying this past weekend, and then the Indy 500 is this upcoming weekend. When I went to like how to watch the Indy 500 qualifying, I was very confused because I know it was like on at one day at one time to qualify certain drivers, then it might have been on again, and then something I was watching yesterday was like 30th to 34th. I'm not gonna lie, I was so freaking confused. I just watched a little bit of whatever was on yesterday at like 3 to 4 ish before the NASCAR All Star race. So I'm not gonna. I was so confused. I have some results. I think it's neat. If you never watched it, it looked, at least from what I saw, they do a 4 lap average, which you don't see that in a lot of sports. So 4 laps are on the track, and they take your average speed, and that's decides the grid order. So I'll just go over it real quick. Alex Palou qualified first. Rena's VK second. Felix Rosenquist third, and they start them like staggered 3 wide. It's a very cool start to the race. If you're not into racing, I encourage at least turning on the start of the Indy 500, see how many people are there. It's a crazy spectacle, and the start is very cool. Row two, Santino Ferrucci, Pato O'Ward, Scott Dixon, that's 4, 5, 6. Alexander Rossi, Sato, and Tony Kanaan, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll just go row four here is 10, 11, 12 is Marcus Ericsson, Benjamin Peterson, and then Will Power. I said that Kyle Larson was running in this. I believe I said that last week. He is not. It is eyeing up a run in this race for next year, which is cool. He's got like full support of Jeff Gordon, who's is taking a bigger role in Hendricks this year. So kind of getting his blessing is cool. So Kyle Larson in that car next year, which will be exciting because I think that he can wheel anything. But this is your Indy 500 starting lineup, the 107th Indy 500 as I'm reading here. So make sure you tune into that. I should know when it starts, but I don't. But that's like your mid race day. They drink the milk at the end. They kiss the bricks. It's a very very cool story tradition they got there. And then to the left, should be to the left of my face on your screen, we got our boy David Gravel in the World of Outlaw picture. So we'll go over our World of Outlaw results this weekend. We were in Ohio back-to-back nights. Attica Raceway Park on Friday. Donnie Schatz is your winner. He's been heating up. Multiple time champion here, so he's no stranger. Started a new a Ford motor that was kind of new a couple years back, and it kind of seemed to take a step back, but it looks like he's getting back onto his game. Starting fourth, winning the race. So he wins Friday night. Rico finishes second. Carson Macedo third. Sheldon Haudenschild fourth. Our boy David Gravel finishes fifth. Cap Henry sixth. Logan Schuhart seventh. Stuart Brubaker, I've never even heard of him, finishes eighth. Brad Sweet ninth, and Spencer Basin rounds out your top 10. So that was that Attica. I've actually been there in Ohio, me and my dad, a long time ago with David and his old man to watch David race. So I love when I get to watch a race that, I've been to the track. You kind of know like what the pits look like, what the vibe is like. So that's pretty cool. And then we get to the Saturday race at Sharon Speedway. We got Schatz again finishing first. David finishes second from fourth. Sheldon from 11th to third. Carson Macedo finishing fourth. Rico fifth. Brad Sweet sixth. Spencer Basin seventh. Logan Schuhart eighth. Danny Dietrich ninth. and then Cole Macedo, brother to Carson, rounding out your top 10. If you would like to check out some clips, you go to David's Instagram. There's a good 4 or 5 car battle for the lead. Really, what dirt racing is all about. If you just tune in on a random night, you might not understand how the show runs, how the qualifying, how the dash, how the race work, or even how the race works. 25 lap race at the pinnacle of a sport, it seems low when you compare it to NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One. This was actually a 30 lap race on Saturday night, excuse me, but that seems low comparatively. But the way these cars run and how they race, it's the perfect amount of laps. In this race on Saturday with the slide jobs and the passing, it's kind of perfect showing of what the World of Outlaws is all about. So we had that this weekend. Motocross was off. There's kind of their week break from indoors till they go outdoors. They're at Fox Raceway. It looks like this weekend, so that'll be exciting to see who's healed up, who's ready to go. Honda will be rolling in their heavy, winning the 450 championship with Chase Sexton, and then both 250 championships with Hunter and Jet Lawrence, both on the East and the West. So look forward to your motocross this weekend and us to be able to talk about that this next weekend. Bad news for me. I'm a little upset. We had Peacock included in our subscription with Xfinity, and I guess that's getting all changed up. And I mean, I'm sure you guys are going through some of this too. You know, when something like this is on a streaming service, they really bind you up. Sometimes they put it on NBC for you to watch, but if it's on Peacock, I mean, how many subscription services can we have these days? You know, I'm already rolling with Netflix, ESPN, Hulu, like most of you are. Got HBO Max going. Got F1 TV Pro going. I was supposed to talk about this with Alex. Shouts out to F1 TV Pro. They extended our subscription another week because Imola was canceled. I didn't feel like they needed to do that at all, but shouts out to them for being concerned about their customers and extending our subscription a week. A little classy move there for what it was. And but so once I get rid of Peacock, we'll see how we can watch these races. It might be a little tough. I might have to re-up on that Peacock, but it was nice that it was included for so long in my cable package. And then we had NASCAR this week. So throwback to North Wilkesboro Speedway. If you turned on the race at all, they had a truck race Friday night. They had a couple heat races on Saturday for the NASCAR All-Star race, the Cup Series, and then the All-Star Cup race on Sunday. This is a throwback track. They had old school videos of Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Gordon racing here, and it is just pretty cool. It closed a few times. It's looking like it closed in 2009, 2011, first closing 1996. So I believe this was the effort with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and some others to put this race to really build the track back up. Who would I say? I think Corey LaJoie snuck in and took engagement photos there a year or two ago, and you could really see like the track. It was like something you'd see in a movie when you see like a racetrack that's been left behind with the weeds growing up, everything kind of like really out of a movie. What this track was like left behind, and they built it up. They fixed the track up with some paving patches here or there, which was kind of a big talking point about finding grip. And they had their All-Star race there this weekend. Real quick, they raced, like I said, the trucks on Friday night. Kyle Larson wins that race. He kind of smoked them. Ty Majeski second, Matt DiBenedetto third, Carson Hocevar fourth, Wallace in fifth, Corey Heim sixth, Matt Craft in seventh, Purdy eighth, Chastain ninth, and then Grant Infinger 10th, with William Byron in the second Hendricks car in 11th. So that was Friday night. Saturday night, there's a couple heat races. It's kind of exciting. One of the heat races... No, excuse me. Saturday night was heat races for the guys who were already kind of qualified in. Kind of grab some starting spots. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy happened. They kept it pretty calm. So, Sunday afternoon at 5 was kind of like the last chance showdown for some drivers to get in. They took the top two. A little interesting. Ty Gibbs moves Michael McDowell out of the way. He kind of crashes into, I believe, Corey LaJoie. Michael McDowell's car's messed up. Ty Gibbs is leading the race when he comes back to lap Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell gives him a little bit of action, causes him to slow up. Josh Berry passes him. Gibbs still finishes second. and they are your two to enter in from this kind of last chance race, with Noah Gragson getting the All-Star vote, even though I went online and voted for my guy, Ryan Prix, who you see up there, I think. So it was interesting though. Michael McDowell had a little bit to say. Ty Gibbs wasn't backing down. Said that McDowell clobbered him a few weeks earlier in Martinsville. Race car drivers, they need short memories, but we really got long ones most of the time. We're holding on to things. So it's a little interesting between them. And then the All Star race was the Kyle Larson ass whooping, as he said. He put the absolute beat down on those guys. Those were his words of how the race went. He started in the back in the first couple laps. I believe he pitted for tires like at lap 15. At the 100 lap halfway point of the race, he had lapped, I don't know, up to 18th. He had like a 10 to 12 second lead. His car just looked insane. They pitted lap 100 mandatory caution. He came back out. He led the rest of the race. Absolutely, by far, the most dominant car. But the race, I think, was kind of a snooze fest. And if you guys don't know about the All-Star race, there's no points involved. $1 million cash on the line. It's kind of like you can do some things and send some things in some situations, because this isn't like, this isn't you're counting for the points, or you need a race to get locked into the playoffs later in the year. It's kind of a one-off race that doesn't matter as much. And so you like to build some excitement. Old school back in the day, there's a whole bunch of different iterations of this race. I know there used to be mandatory green flag stops, and then there was like different, 4 25-lap segments that paid out. This was kind of a snoozer, I think. I think fans love to be at North Wilkesboro. They love anything Junior's involved in. They love the throwback to the track. But the race was not as exciting as in years past. And they've been moving it around. It was kind of Charlotte for a long while. They moved it to Texas. Larson has won, I believe, at Charlotte at Texas. And then he has now won at North Wilkesboro. So it was a big win. The third All-Star race win for him is huge. I know there's a little talk about maybe some traction control, because these guys were slipping and sliding with the track surface being what it was. I believe Darrell Waltrip was like, get ready for this burnout, and then he barely did a burnout, which Kyle Larson has done some pretty sick ones in the past. Kind of led some people to be speculating that maybe he had some traction control, and that's why he was just so much faster than everyone else. I don't get involved in all of that conspiracy when it comes to this. I'm a Larson fan, so maybe that's why I'm turning an eye. I will say he was so much faster than everyone else, so it was a little bit sketchy, especially when you look at like William Byron ran the truck race on Friday night with Kyle. So you can't just say, and Ross Chastain and a few of these guys. So, it's not just like Kyle's the only one that ran the truck race. Maybe he got those extra laps helped him. Some of these other guys did, and it did nothing for them. So that was the All-Star race. Like I said, they have the Coca-Cola 600 this weekend. I believe it's their longest race of the year. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. And that's the end of the triple header racing on Memorial Day here in the United States on Sunday. So that is that. Had my old man in the comments earlier. He's always watching. I appreciate that. Any of you guys tuning in, we're on Spotify for the past 2 weeks. This will be week number 3. So make sure to like the show, give it a rating. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like. It means a lot. We're putting some effort into this show, hopefully making a better product for you guys. And I think the more people get engaged with the show, not that, this, having an audience and followers is something that's earned, not given. I 1,000% respect that and understand that. So we're going to keep grinding. And I think as the audience grows and we get some more feedback and comments in here, we can mold this thing to make it better. So we're putting effort in here, all things racing. We're here in our main bread and butter is our Formula One here. So we love to talk about that. And most of the show will be dedicated to that. So comments, leave them below. We appreciate you guys for listening. We hope you guys enjoy your Memorial Day. And right now, the plan is we'll see you Monday night at 5:30. If not, we're on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can pay attention to all those, and we'll keep you updated on what the schedule is. Have